So, do you really think that you can heal? I mean, do you really, hands on heart, believe that you can heal? You know, they don't call it taking a leap of faith for nothing. Because by taking a leap, you literally are throwing yourself totally into a situation where you believe. This is an all or nothing situation, guys. You can't do it with your head. You really can't even just do it with your heart. You either do believe or you don't. Well, I did talk about this in my last video with Rosie, my integrative doctor, where we were in a garden in France together and I was having a session with her, and it was quite a teary one. And I can remember saying to her, Rosie, is it really that simple? You just believe and you're healed? Is it really that simple? And I said, you know, why me? What is it special about me? Why could I do it? And she just looked at me, she said, Julie, do you actually believe that you can heal? And I can remember taking a step back and thinking, gosh, if it's really that simple, it's like taking a walk through a door and coming out the other side and believing that you're healed. And in the tearful state, I made that inner adjustment and I decided, yes, I can do this. It was as simple as that. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today. By the way, guys, I know that I say in every video about subscribing and pressing the thumbs up button. The reason why I ask you to do this is because the YouTube algorithm will pick it up and my videos are more likely to be put in front of other people. So if you can just take that time and effort, you know, maybe at the end of the video to do that'd be really great. So let's go back to the Bible a minute. I mean, I'm not personally a religious person, but belief goes back a long way, and there's one particular point in the Bible where it's quite personal to me because there's a woman in it that had heavy menstrual blood loss, and back in those days in their religion, when a woman was on her period, she was considered unclean. And this woman was obviously having a lot of problems and it was ongoing, and it had gone beyond that. She was being shunned. She spent all of her money on going to the doctors and was getting nowhere. She was absolutely desperate. And then she heard that Jesus was coming to where she lived and there were crowds of people around him, and she managed to squeeze her way in because she had heard that, you know, he can touch you and you'd heal. So she crept behind him and she actually touched his garment and he felt her, and he turned around and asked who touched him, and she was obviously quite taken aback, and in desperation she pleaded with him, saying how desperate she was to be healed. And he looked at her and he said to her that basically he hadn't healed her. Her faith in him had healed her, and that she could go away in peace in the knowledge that she was healed. Now, the important thing there is that she touched him in the belief that, you know, she might be healed, and it was black and white. He told her to go, continue with her life because she now was healed. So it's about having faith in choosing that you're healed and then beginning the rest of your life healed. So that's pretty big, isn't it? But let's move on to modern day now, and we have this thing called the placebo effect, don't we? You probably know what I mean. When they create a new pharmaceutical drug, it has to go to trials and they do testing. They take two different sets of people, one of whom they give the new super drug, and the other set they give something like a sugar pill, or it might be an IV saline solution, or they even do fake surgeries, guys, which sound pretty amazing, to find out whether these new products actually work. And the most curious thing is, in some cases, the placebo is almost as good as the actual new drug. You know, that's a huge amount, isn't it? And curiously, it's more likely to be high if the pill, for example, is maybe a colour like blue, you know, where it's obviously a seriously strong drug, isn't it? Or even if the medic that's administering it has a particularly good bedside manner that makes it even more believable. So the actual person taking the drug has a stronger belief that it's going to work. And is this really any different to that woman at Jesus's cloak? I mean, they chose to believe that that drug was the right one, that they weren't getting the placebo, they had the real thing. And it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because it wasn't that long ago that people would actually say, oh, you know, it's all in the mind, power of the mind. You know, they managed to believe themselves they've managed to be as good as the drug. But with modern technology now, we're really discovering that the body is not just the mind. The body will actually create its own pharmacy of a drug inside. So for example, trials that they did on people with Parkinson's, on the belief that they had taken the new magic Parkinson's drug, they stopped shaking. And they found out the reason why is because their bodies were creating dopamine, the bodily chemical that actually stops the shaking. I mean, how incredible is that? So their belief created a chemical. And so, God knows, our bodies are amazing. We're still finding out so much, but if a sheer belief system can heal you, I don't know about you, but it's worth a go, isn't it? I mean, children are pretty amazing at this, aren't they? Again, as a mother, you can kiss your child's graze when they've fallen over, and you can even put a plaster on the graze. They even sell now with cartoons on them or whatnot, and it's, again, it's been proved to show that those children's little grazes heal faster with a mother's kiss and that plaster on it. So, you know, this starts really young. A belief system is so powerful. Now, conversely, there's also the nocebo effect. The nocebo effect is if you believe that something is going to harm you, then it can. So personally, when I had the 2 rounds of chemo that they said wouldn't cure me anyway, I didn't have much faith in it, and I had a really bad reaction to the drugs being used. And I was convinced from all the feelings I was having that it was killing me. And I didn't really know much about the nocebo effect at the time, so I'm pretty glad now that I stopped, because with that headset, I'm convinced that it wasn't going to do me any good. So let's look at this differently. On the other hand, if you are taking chemo, how can you use the placebo effect to make sure that it's working really well for you? We can use visualization. So when the IV is going through our arm, we can see it as something magical that's going to maybe melt away the cancer. That's one way of thinking it. Everybody, depending on how creative you are, you can come up with your own ideas of what might actually do this, and you can imagine pictures in your mind like a movie as you're going through treatment of how it's tackling it, how you're going to be free of cancer at the end. And for those of you that can't visualise, because I know that not everybody can, I was wondering if it might be quite useful if I put my corporate image here, which I'll show you now, where there's an image of a figure that is having all the fragments removed from it, which you can perceive this as you like. For me, it was like the heavy weight of the person in their despair was being lifted away from them. So whether it's the cancer cells disappearing, whether it's just everything, the heavy depth of cancer and everything that goes with it, it is disappearing. Do by all means print it out as a PDF and take it with you, keep it close and just look at it and imagine that the whole weight of cancer is being lifted up away from you. I've put I am healthy, whole and healed on it as well, because I thought it might be a useful thing to put around the house. You might want to put it on the fridge, put it on the dashboard of your car, or on your desk, because repeating over and over again, believing I am healthy, whole and healed, is all part of this, guys. It's a way of being. So as well as repeating it, believe it, feel it. Your body is healthy, whole and healed. It's as simple as that. And this is why I've been telling you this every single video, why this is so important. So hopefully I'm beginning to brainwash you a bit in knowing that it's really, really that simple. I know it might sound daft, but it really is that simple. So, okay, let this be my gift to you, this little printout. Use it as you like. Let me embed in it with you my intention for you to be healed. And indeed, may you be healed. And let that be your homework this week, guys. Go in the belief that you can be and that you are healed. So, okay, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.